Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of 4 here for Modern Wednesday at Nerd Rage Gaming. I'm your host, Andrew Donnelly. With me in the booth this evening, our level 2 judge and good friend of the shop, Max Con.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Max, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a peek here at David Buccelli and Robert Pask, Jun Coco versus Ghostway. Probably should edit that game record there, as I forgot to do that as we left from round 1.
Now, David's Ghostway deck is interesting, of course. The deck built around the card Ghostway. It's a guild-packed rare, and what it does, it exiles all your creatures and returns them to the battlefield.
Yeah, it does.
So we've got a lot of enter the battlefield abilities. We see right now a Wall of Omens, and I assume some sort of combos that go with that.
Yeah, I really like this deck. We saw this at a Modern 1K that was hosted here at Nerd Rage Gaming, I believe. And it was a sick deck. I mean, it plays a bunch of cards that I enjoy. It's in colors that I like, as far as Bant just in general. So I'm a huge fan of this deck so far.
And it looks like Robert Pask on the other side is playing Jund Collected Company. I got to see his deck list before the event began, and he's playing the combo version, of course, with Malira and some sack outlets.
Okay.
He's also playing a Singleton Timer the Murder King, the Theros legendary creature.
Interesting. What Tyrant the Murder King? Oh, okay.
I'm assuming black creature.
Right. I'm guessing he has to play that because he doesn't have access to some of the other sack outlets that we're used to. This will be a Court of Calling from David Buccelli. And this is a dangerous card here. We'll see a Restoration Angel. I'm assuming this thing's going to target either the Wall of Omens or the Wall of Roots. We will target the Wall of Omens, so we'll get a draw effect. Yeah, I like this. David, like I said, played this deck previously in an event, and I was a huge fan of it. Its interactions are awesome. So we will tick up the Wall of Roots. We're going to tap. It looks like we're... Holy cow. We're going to get the cord again here for something big.
So we've got the Restoration Angel on the battlefield. Is he just going for the Kiki Jiki to just kill his opponent right now?
It could be.
Problem is, Robert's got a Spell Scout on the battlefield. So Kiki Jiki is not going to work the way that David wants to.
I believe it is going to work because he can only target a creature he controls with Kiki Jiki.
Oh, that is true.
So Kiki Jiki's going to do his job and make quick work of game 1.
Looks like David Buccelli takes it.
Oh, man. And that is why I like the deck. What do we got, Maxcon? We got white. We got blue. We got, well, green isn't really necessary, but that's fine. It can be in there. And then I have a combo, so that sounds like a deck I'd love to play.
So you want to take a look at David's sideboard real quick?
I guess I could look at... Wait, do you have David's sideboard?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got David's
sideboard. Of course.
You're leaving me with the Jun Coco.
One-ofs.
I know, because
David
it's
Buccelli's sideboard.
sweet.
I want to run through these real quickly. We've got a Scavenging Ooze. We've got a Kataki War's Wage.
Awesome.
We've got a Purphoros, God of the Forge.
Amazing.
We have a Kasali Pride Mage.
Yep.
A Magus of the Moon.
Sure.
A Whisperwood Elemental. A Huntmaster of the Fells.
Sweet.
A Eidolon of Rhetoric, of course,
amazing.
the Journey into Nyx uncommon.
Yeah.
We have one Is It Staticaster? The Innistrad uncommon Fiend Hunter.
Sure.
We have a Glenelendra Archmage, of course, the counterspell sack creature that persists. We have a Revelark, a Sigarda Host of Herons, a Thragtusk, and a Keranos God of Storms.
Jeez.
So 2 gods in the sideboard for David Buccelli.
Man.
Of course, even if they're not active on the battlefield, you can still tutor those up with Court of Calling and get some value.
I'm surprised he doesn't play a Pharah, because that seems like nothing but value in this deck.
That seems very
right?
good.
That seems like insane value. I understand Purphoros is also obviously very good in a Ghostway style deck. Why aren't we just giving us another 4-drop that can come live that can essentially just kill people?
Nicker Bean, you just asked in the comments if we can get a list for David. I can talk to them after the round and see if we can get a list out there for you. It's really interesting to see these great brews here at Nerd Rage Gaming Live, and we'd like to give that deck list to you.
We could probably take a picture of the deck and send it out at NRG, or Nerd Rage Gaming 1, I'm sorry, for the Twitter. So.
And if you follow me on Twitter at MaxPlaysMTG, I will most likely retweet that tweet.
There you go. We'll be retweeting as the night goes on. So we'll take a look at Robert Pask's sideboard here for Jun Coco. He's got 1 Shriekmaw, 1 Blood Artist, 2 Boil, 2 Leyline of Life Force, 2 Phyrexian Revoker, 2 Black Sun Zenith, 2 Caustic Caterpillar.
Jeez, the Magic Origins common.
1 Terminate and 2 Abrupt Decay. What do you think we're playing Caustic Caterpillar for?
Well, it's a creature that sacrifices itself, so that kind of goes with the Jun Collected Company theme. But I think Reclamation Sage might just be better.
I would have to agree with you. I think Reclamation Sage is probably our better choice there. I mean, I can think of a few other ones, like Viridian Zealot, I believe, is pretty close. What's the other red red green 1, like 2/3 that when it comes in blows up an artifact or enchantment. It's like Vitugazu Renegades or
sure, some Ravnica or Guild Pact card.
Yeah, it's some. I mean, this is an interesting sideboard though. I wonder what we. I mean, Black Sun Zenith seems like a house here.
So taking a look at our Nerd Rage Gaming Live history, this is David Buccelli's third feature match.
Sure.
Both of his previous times were with this 4-color Ghostway deck. He won one and lost one of them, both of them at the SCG IQ we had in July.
Yeah, and we do have, I think, recaps of both those games.
Robert Pask, his opponent, first time in a feature match here in Nerd Rage.
Yep. Long-time player, though, has been here for Modern multiple times.
So it looks like Robert is on the play this game, taking a couple damage off of his lands. It looks like he's playing a Phyrexian Revoker.
Interesting.
It's an interesting one. I wonder what he could be naming with that one.
I was about to say, what do you name with that?
Maybe Wall of Roots coming to mind? David did have that last game.
Can you name birds activation effect?
You can, I believe. I'd have to take a look at the Oracle text there, Phyrexian Revoker.
On Phyrexian Revoker? I was about to say, that'd be something.
So Phyrexian Revoker says you name a non-land card, and activated abilities of the sorcerer with the chosen name can be activated.
Sure.
So you can't name a land to stop the mana abilities,
right.
But if you do name a creature, you can stop those mana abilities. So we assume he's playing a Bird's Paradise or a Wall of Roots there.
Oh, man. What if... This is I like to do some speculative what-ifs.
Sure.
And since you're new in the booth, I'll give you my first one of this evening. What if Voice of Resurgence created its token on an enter the battlefield effect instead of dying?
How more play than it currently is.
We'd be playing some Bant Ghostway then?
I probably would be playing some Bant Ghostway then.
Sure. Alright, so there's birds.
So it looks like on a Robert Pask's side of the battlefield, he has Bloodseeker.
Yep.
Bloodseeker was printed in Zendikar in M12. It's a 2-mana 1/1, and when a creature enters the battlefield under its opponent's control, they lose 1 life.
Yep.
Which means no infinite combos with creatures, no Kiki-Jiki Resto, no Splinter Twin.
Yep.
None of that works with a Bloodseeker on the battlefield.
Bloodseeker. Alright, so we're going to get live here with our creatures. One of them is going to be able to eat 1. David's going to take some damage.
It looks like David's hand has at least 1 Chord of Calling in it. He just drew another Wall of Omens. David deciding on what to do here. He's got a pretty busy board on Robert's side. 4 creatures out there. Almost to a combo. He's got Malira Silvok Outcast on the battlefield.
It's got to be interesting for David because this is a hard deck for him to run any type of board wipe in. And really right now a board wipe seems great, you know what I mean? But it looks like we're instead going to go ahead and Court of Calling for our own creature here. Let's see what he's decided. This will be a Chord for 3.
Maybe he's getting a Scavenging Ooze. Oh, is it Staticaster? Oh. Wow. Both the Bloodseeker and the Phyrexian Revoker.
That's brutal.
Of course, he had 15 one-ofs he could choose from there, so it's interesting to see with these Court of Calling packages, and he's got a 15-creature sideboard, what he can do with those Court of Callings. And it looks like is a Staticaster is what David decided this time.
That is awesome. I have to imagine Keranos is fairly good in this matchup, too. The additional card draw, the bolt effect to a lot of
It does seem slow, though. Of course, Collected Company is a card that almost guarantees you a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
And that costs 4 mana. It's an instant. So Keranos being 5 mana at sorcery speed that's got a minimal effect over a long period of time may not actually be fast enough.
Especially when you can get it relatively quick, I'd assume.
Sure. With your you've got the Bird's Paradise and the Wall of Roots.
Yeah. So here's a Coco from Robert. He's going to look for his effect real fast.
We've got a Court of Calling. Looks like a Sprouting Thrynax, a Kitchen Finks, and 3 lands.
Oh boy.
So Sprouting Thrynax, of course, costs Jund. It's a 3/3, and when it dies, you get 3 1/1 green Saprolings.
Right, right. So we'll take care of the Blood Tracker. David's going to take 3, it looks like.
Interesting. Is it Staticaster has haste?
It does.
Oh, sure. So that's why he was able to shoot the Bloodseeker. I really want to figure out what this Phyrexian Revoker is naming.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested.
It could
too.
be naming Kiki Jiki just to stop all the shenanigans immediately.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Robert, David has other combos in his deck that do not involve
I
Kiki
feel like you
Jiki.
attack the birds. In all honesty, Robert says he's 18 on the life die. Yeah, 18 is correct.
Is that a Kessig Wolf run that Robert has on the battlefield right now?
It is, yes. Yep.
Of course, the Innistrad Rare saw play in the Jund ramp decks when that was in Standard,
Yeah.
and Melissa DeTore's Bant Wolf run deck. She top 8
Also
approach or
played.
Gatecrash with that deck.
I had to play against a lot of those decks back in that Standard. It was very frustrating to say the least.
Is that a Quarter Calling that Robert Pask just drew? So it's interesting to see what he can tutor up, the original Ravnica version. Is he anywhere close to a combo? I mean, a sack outlet.
One sack outlet.
Sack outlet will
looking
get him
for,
there.
He's being really aggressive with a lot of these creatures.
So maybe he's planning on seeing what David does, and maybe in response, Quarter Calling it up. He can Quarter Calling for 3.
Sure.
Get a sack outlet and kill David from there.
He has to be, I think, very careful, though, because David's deck is known for being tricky, and he is leaving a lot of mana untapped. He's leaving this Is It Staticaster untapped. There's a lot here that, Robert doesn't want to play into.
And he could have a Quarter Calling for all we know.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond that, he could have access to counter magic we don't know about. I mean, we didn't see a lot game 1. Sands for a bunch of birds and a combo that killed us.
And we're not sure that Robert knows that David's sideboard is 15 singleton creatures.
Right, yeah. You're correct.
Of course, there is a Glenelenda Archmage as one of those creatures, though. So if we Quarter Calling, David could Quarter Calling in response for his Glenelenda Archmage.
Correct.
And counter our Quarter Calling.
Yeah, I've also seen at the IQ, David lock someone out of their combat step with this deck.
Oh, with Stonehorn Dignitary?
Yep.
That is so cool.
It was very fun to watch. He explained the how things were going to go to his opponent very calmly, and then his opponent promptly scooped up his cards.
Yeah, that'll happen when you're playing a creature that can attack. Looks like a Restoration Angel from Buccelli.
That seems okay, but we do have to be careful.
Linking the Wall of Omens, he drew a Whisperwood Elemental.
Let me tell you how good that card is in this deck. I don't know if you've ever seen after Whisperwood's been out for like 3 or 4 turns, and then a Ghostway resolve, but it's pretty sweet.
Deciding to block the Sprouting Thrynax, of course, when Sprouting Thrynax dies, this Is It Staticaster can just kill all those Saprolings. That isn't going to do a big deal. Looks like we are Court of Calling in response, and this might be where Robert goes for it and just gains infinite life.
Right.
The problem for Robert is David can deal infinite damage.
Correct. Oh, this will be interesting to watch. This will be. I wonder what if he. So he is going to get.
That is the sack outlet. So we can assume that what's going to happen in combat here, of course, we are sacking the Kitchen Finks to the Viscera Seer to scry 1. We've got a Persist trigger. The Persist will resolve, bring back the Kitchen Finks with no -1/-1 counter because of Malira Sylvok Outcast, and we can continue that loop infinite times for infinite life off Kitchen Finks life gain trigger.
So he's going to do it once here, gain 2.
Yes, basic _3, the Ghostway deck does have a Kiki Jiki.
Yep. Do we not continue the combo?
We do not go for it now, but it's fine because none of the creatures that were involved in the combo would die.
Sure.
So we're just actually making the 3 Saprolings, letting combat resolve as normal. David blocked with 2 0-powered creatures, so none of those would die.
But I mean, now we're giving David a chance to... Yeah, there's the Thrynax tokens. We're giving David a chance to kind of respond here. Draw a card. I mean, I don't want this guy building his hand if I'm Robert.
Oh, not at all. David's deck, in general, David's deck is much more powerful than Robert's deck. Just got better cards. We saw already in the Whisperwood Elemental that could be coming down this turn. Actually, we're 1 mana short of Whispered Elemental this turn.
And that card is a house in this deck.
Of course, Court of Calling, always active.
I think the other thing I like about this Bant Ghostway deck is I like the fact that it plays at instant speed. It's an aggressive mid-range deck, but the fact that it's trying to play everything at instant speed is something that I enjoy. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and try and sack here.
We are going for the combo, but in response, we are killing the Viscera Seer.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what David wants to do. We cannot let that creature live, or else the combo just goes infinite.
Can't imagine Robert runs a whole bunch of copies of it either.
We do know he's playing Timer at the Murder King. Unfortunately, that creature costs mana to sacrifice as part of the cost, so we can't go infinite with that one. But Robert just has another.
He just has one lined up. That's nuts.
All right, Robert goes for infinite life. David says, okay. We are flashing in a Restoration Angel to kill the Viserys here.
Stop.
We are Coco in response. Are we going to go for another Kitchen Finks and in response to the kill? Combo off.
Oh,
is that what we've got here? Is that a Boon Satyr? That can't be a Boon Satyr. No, it's 2 Arbor Elves.
So we're missing, I'm assuming he's missing Nobles here? Is that what we'd be playing in these spots?
Nobles are Birds of Paradise.
Birds of Paradise, sure.
Of course, with the Shocklands, Arbor Elf fulfilling most of the same requirements.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would have been ridiculous if he hit another. Oh man.
So it looks like David no-sirred Robert's attempt to combo off,
again.
And the game continues with a timely Restoration Angel.
Yeah, that was well played by David. Man, is it Staticaster? That Singleton sideboard, baby. That thing's paying off.
And of course, it's not really much of a Singleton sideboard when you're playing 4 Quarter Callings.
Right. The toolbox, I really do like this deck. I could get behind this deck really quickly.
So it looks like David's hand contains the Whisperwood Elemental. Looks like a breeding pool of Birds of Paradise, among other things.
Is that a Silverblade Paladin? Oh,
it's a Pia and Kieran Nalaar. Wow, so that one must be in the main deck, because that's not written on the sideboard sheet.
That's new, though. He didn't have this at the IQ, obviously. I mean, this is a interesting card to slot in.
2 Thopters in play for David Buccelli. And we're getting aggressive with our Restoration Angels now. We're looking to close out this game.
This is sweet.
The good old-fashioned way.
Brings Robert down to 16. And this is why I like Pia and Kieran. Its ability to act as a pseudo-siege gang commander that we can now use to remove our opponent's board, as well as give us colorless creatures that we could tap for Court of Calling in this deck. That is brutal.
And we just saw Izzet Staticaster take down both of Robert Pask's Arbor Elves.
Yeah.
Which, Izzet Staticaster's definitely been the MVP for David this game.
Man.
Looks like there's a judge call or something going on off to the side. I heard some shouting.
The more and more I see David Buccelli play this deck, I have to wonder why he ever built Amulet combo. Because I think with enough tuning, a toolbox ability Bant style deck can do very well in this modern format. There are a lot of cards you have access to play that can win you games. I mean, it's very efficient. I think you do have to be careful about your mana base and things like that. It's pretty typical of a toolbox style deck, but I mean the deck is phenomenal.
Right. No, of course, we're not playing a typical Bant deck. We're playing a triple red card in Kiki-Jiki and a double red card in Kieran Nalaar.
It's very interesting.
So it looks like Robert's going to play an Eternal Witness to get back his Court of Calling. So he's trying to combo again, but I think David might have built up enough resistance to another combo. Of course, he's got the Pia out, and he's got the Staticaster out.
Just ridiculous. Is that? Oh, God, he played the full art planes there, and for some reason, I thought that was a tragic arrogance.
Oh, jeez. The arts do look similar.
It was very interesting. All right, so let's see how. I think David, like you said, is slowly just looking to close out the game here. This is where we start picking off creatures. Is he going to attempt to?
So we're courting for 2 in response.
Yep.
Looks like they're getting a judge involved. I don't know if they can convoke and then take off that last counter for the Wall of Roots. In fact, you can. You're allowed to pay your costs in any order, so you can tap it for the convoke, then remove the counter.
Sure.
Looks like we're backing up.
They may be waiting for you.
Give me 1 second.
Sure, it sounds like it. So Max, as the resident judge, is going to have to make the judge call here to discern whether or not that is the correct play. He's going to run out there and answer real fast. We can hang out here taken care of.
So, of course, the correct ruling is that you can, because you can pay the costs in any order.
Sure.
So we can pay the convoke cost first, and then remove the counter to add a green.
Yep. Could he do it vice versa as well, I'm assuming?
I mean, it would be dead before you'd have the option to convoke it.
Oh, gotcha. Interesting. Very interesting. The question is what is he going for that's really going to seal the deal? Because it looks like we're going to just play a giant Whisperwood Elemental. Holy cow. And I have to assume that's not a card anybody wants to get lined up against in this board state.
And even just in the modern metagame in general, there's not many answers to that outside of Path Eggs.
Sure. Oh, man. That's brutal. That is a big body for a modern game. Now, do we think it would have been a little bit different if that thing was a 5/5? Would that have gone overboard a bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely. It's very good already.
Sure. Terminate also takes care of it. That is true. I mean, that card is just ridiculous. Look at that board state. Oh.
Is that a Courser of Krufix drawn by
It
David
might be.
Buccelli?
At this point, I'm hoping he just flies out of Ghostway.
Well, another attack for 6. We've got a Collected Company for Robert. Another last-ditch effort for him. But it looks like we found an Arbor Elf, a Scavenging Ooze, a Cord. That's it.
So we've got a Scooze and an Arbor Elf, neither of which are really going to save us here from the 6 damage coming in from the Angels. Robert down to 3. David Buccelli probably going to seal this one out here.
Courser of Krufix revealing a Wooded Foothills. And what is this? This is a Huntmaster of the Fells.
Here we go. Now we're just making it difficult for him.
Now, I'm not sure if there is any way that Robert Pask is getting out of this one.
I can't think of it, unless somehow we have another Coco and the combo cards we need right away. But even then, I think we're in a bad spot.
And David's got that active Visit Staticaster that's ready to ping down the whatever the sack outlet is.
Jeez. I think we can scoop it up right now. Robert Pask scoops DeVille. He's about to taste the 31 flavors and scoop it up. He's got to scoop them cards up.